Okay, let's go straight into coding now as we jump in and explore generics. Okay, you should be able to see I fired up Copilot. Doesn't really matter which LLM you use. They're all more or less the same. And we're going to go with the introductory stuff. I know I did a bunch of things with abstract classes, interfaces, and I even meddled into a little bit of generics in there. Now I'm going to be very explicit on how we're going to go. We are exploring generics now, but it'll build off of interfaces and abstract classes because it's all kind of they come from the same pool of thought, so to speak. They share a common thread amongst several ideas. So um, AI lumps it together. People lump it together, so AI lumps it together. To make a long story short, and we will explore the differences. Like all things we've covered, let's just start with asking an LLM to act as a C# instructor, explain, oops, explain what generics are and why we should know it. And boom. Be kind of interesting exercise to put that same statement into different LLMs and see what kind of answers you get. And you know why it matters? That's very much andragogy. K through K through 5 kids learn because they enjoy it. But once you become an adult, you have to know, you have to be told why. You need to learn a thing, otherwise you have a tendency to just leave. Yeah, you have a tendency to write the same old code. They unlock the modern C# patterns. We played around with repository. We played around. We haven't touched specification. It's on the same level of complexity as repository. We will eventually get to links later on in the course. And we will touch dependency injection in passing, but when it comes down to event handlers or async pipelines, not so much, not so much. Okay, so where are we? I was mentioning it before, but at any time, if you have a question about a thing, pose your question to the LLM and make sure that you understand what it's putting out. And at the end of whatever your learning objective you're trying to reach, ask the LLM to quiz you on it and give you a grade, and just keep at it until you master the topic. So let's just say, yes, act as a teacher. Tell me the differences between interfaces, abstract classes, and generics. I know I misspelled teacher, but it'll catch up on it. So a contract says what must be done. What are the inputs? What are the outputs? What are the names of things? Abstract class says what must be done and, well, what's the code behind it? Building upon that, it kind of slipped in couple keywords here: abstract members, concrete members, and compare and contrast about on that. And generics, that's the granddaddy. That's reusable code for any type. Now we're going to dip a little bit more into the wild side, right? I'm going to say here, give me a web page. Produce a web page that demonstrates how generics work. Use repository as an example. We're building the same thing again that we've already built. We're just kind of exploring it in a different direction. I have, well, let's just be very concrete. I have an index.cshtml page that calls index.cshtml.cs. And write the C# and web code in those two pages. No controllers. No outside classes. Everything in those two pages, two files. Let's see what it comes up with. Let's keep our fingers crossed. When it's saying this is the kind of compact, pedagogical, clear demo, AI is conflating pedagogy and andragogy because people conflate those two. Actually, when it comes down to adults, they really need to see that what works quickly. They can't. It really doesn't sink in if you lecture for an hour and then you have them do something. Small bites, people, small bites. So it tells me this. I know because I've done this a bajillion times, but I telling you right now, your app.pages, that's demo code right there. But here we have product and a repository that uses product. And to get all that works and the simple page, and we're going to keep our fingers crossed that that works. For some reason, it's just something about interfaces, abstract classes, and generics that just makes AI go banana nuts when you apply education on top of it. So, you know, I wiped it out, but just as a reminder, scroll it back up. This is what we had to work with, right? Public class index model, public interface, so on and so forth. And this is the web page itself. So let's start with the web page. Convenient to have a copy button right there. Notice IntelliSense immediately kicked in and said, your app doesn't make sense because my app is web application 3. So I'm going to start typing it in web application 3. Now it makes sense. And now it says index model. There is no um, class right now called index model. That's on the receiver side and it doesn't have it. So I'm just going to wipe that out. Plus, it's not in. Oh, look, it does have an index model. Sorry. Okay, it's just not there yet. We'll just bear that in mind. There, it's defined right there. Sorry, let's just call it a mistake Al can make when he does things out of order. Well, and he can't even cut paste right. Not my greatest of days. Namespace, you're no, that's not it, right? Web application 3. So let's throw caution to the wind, hit the run and compile button and see it work. And there it worked, right? If you notice, all the web pages AI generates are always just a little bit different every time. The algorithms are tweaked all the time. The data that's being loaded is tweaked all the time. So you cannot count on the same output, even though it's a different input, different, I mean, you have the same prompts, you cannot count on the same output all the time. So for example, if you are using AI to generate pictures for a website, let's just say the site has 10 pages. You work on page 1 on Monday, work on page 2 on Tuesday, work on page 3 on Wednesday, and then you finish up by the next Friday. Every day you ask AI to generate pictures, there's always this chance it's going to change. So by the second week of your project, if you start regenerating the images again, there may be differences, and which will drive you to tears because you're going to have to regenerate all those images at roughly the same time. And free LLMs have that limit. You can't keep on doing that. They'll cut you off soon. Believe me, I know from personal experience, and it's not a small academic experience either. I had 40 images. So I did pay for LLM for a brief period of time. Not so much lately. So what do we do? Well, when the page is called, right? Quick refresher, it does on get. First thing it does. So if we refresh, it goes into on get. We see it creates a repository, new repository, and we pipe in product, right? And do step overs, and we see that repo has all these nice products contained within it. Don't pay much attention to this web application 3.pages. Yada yada. You won't see that if you define your class outside the page. It's only because I want everything in one page where it gets like that. So we see a demonstration of get all, right? And on the web page itself, as a quick reminder, remember this is a C# class, not a web development class. But if you look here, that's all it's doing is just going through a loop and says, okay, Model is what's passed in, products is the object type, and it's just going through the objects. It's just going through the products within that repository. All right. So that is our generic. Okay, we've done that. So let's query our LLM a little bit more. What other methods are typical for a repository that a student should know? It's probably going to be like get ID, get all, add, and so on and so forth. And there we are. See, what I did is more like a meta prompt or a meta lesson. I know a thing, you know a thing because your instructor told you about that thing. But if you were to like go up and down the scale on what you should know, what you shouldn't know, you'll get a pretty good idea of what's out there. And whether you have time or talent or what have you, you will easily shoot past what's required to know at your particular stage in your education. So I'm just kind of keeping it simple by telling you we're going to master the 40 to 50% of stuff and leave the graduate student level stuff to the graduate students. So what we what we've learned is that we're using AI as a jetpack for rapid prototyping while emphasizing the learner's own judgment and refinement. Uh, Here ends the reading of this lesson. We're going to move on to the next topic.